the winter biome. On the edge of the hill stood Castle Raven, a previously monolith fortress against the cold, ruled by one Viking with an iron sledgehammer. The cobblestone path had taken a toll, beaten by the wind in a freak winter storm. The crumbling path led to the front gates of the castle. Mammoth boulders and fallen chunks of concrete now lie in the path to the castle. The ironworks of the stone is all that remains. The peasants had long left this winter biome, pushed out to the meadows by that raging winter storm. All that was left was their carts and one solitary burning brazier in the middle of the courtyard. The blacksmith stand stood empty. The farm that used to house carrots and onions stood empty. The snowy path that led to the celebration area stood empty. Although the braziers remained lit, so that the people below knew the castle was there. Inside the front door, the cold stone turned into warm hearts, and though the castle itself was crumbling, the inside was still fit for a king. A warm forge and the cooking station invited you in to the hidden downstairs bedroom. Even with the sounds of the wolves in the background. Upstairs lie a workforge. And a beautiful overlooked balcony. Fit for a king. The king was forced to spawn risen to relight his circle. The king needs light. The king didn't pay his power bill. Down in the mead hall, the tankard sat lonely on the table, and the stone oven sat ready to bake. And a throne sat silently. Maybe the king had gotten up and portaled out to a safer biome. Maybe somewhere in the meadows, he's wandering around, looking for a place to build his new bastion, a place of safety. Maybe his people need him down in the Black Forest. Maybe he wants to be a cow rancher and tame oxes over in the plains like a cowboy, swatting death mosquitoes at every waking hour of the day, just to crush bile and to make really potent meads that'll get him drunk off of his rear end. Nobody will ever know. Alright guys, this is just a quick update on some of the castle details I finished up. So, some of you guys may have already seen, like kind of, I'd say the 3/4 done part of this. So, there's nothing super new in terms of, I added this brazier on this side because I just thought they looked cool. So I still have this one over here. It makes the castle visible from far away. Yeah, so if you're lost, yeah, come find me with that brazier. And then I added the kitchen area in here. So the only thing that I didn't have inside this castle to make it functional was a cooking area. I couldn't figure out how to do that, you know, with putting the cauldron in this hearth. So I decided, you know, this already looks like a kitchen, so I made it a kitchen. So it's got a hearth here, with a small chimney up, a stone oven built into the wall, pots, pans, spice rack, butcher blocks in front of the stone oven. Seems to be perfect height for that. A couple tankards on the table, a couple chairs around this bar stool. And that pretty much finished the build. And this build is big enough to drop me at about 37 frames per second. This build is in fact so big that I actually cannot raise any more land. It doesn't let me do it. So, there is much bigger builds than this, but they're spread out over a larger area. So the bigger builds tend to be like a lot of shorter buildings, more detailed buildings, but spread out over a larger area so that the game renders it. This one is, well, there's a lot of entities here that some of them you can't even see. So each one of these walls has the logs, the stone. Some of these stones are actually 2 to 4 layers thick. So for example, this wall here, even though it's 1 layer thick here, this is actually about 4 layers stacked on top of each other, and that causes the game some huge issues. Yeah. So, and I can show you that actually. Show you! Fire! Open the door, fly out. So you can see from up here, you can see how thick that wall actually is. So here's the interior. The interior of the wall is here. this shows you the exterior. And you can see that I've got them stacked, sometimes 4 or 5 deep. Down here, there's 4 or 5, deep. You see the stones. Those are kind of how I made up the floor. So those are actually measuring devices. Funnily enough, if you aren't aware of how I did this, those are measuring devices. So in order to get the dimensions of this castle that I did, I framed everything out like I normally do. So if you haven't seen my videos, I will typically frame out kind of just a rough idea of what I'm doing, but I never actually, sit down and plan. So this is all pre-built just by throwing down bricks and seeing what I wanted to do. And then once I threw down some bricks, I decided that I wanted to wall in this little section here. So I thought like a below wall kind of bedroom would be really cool. And it also keeps out wolves and shit. So it's kind of a bonus. Oh, of course, that would come in right now. As a decided snowstorm every time I'm talking about my build. Hold on. Let's see if we can sleep this shit off. So down in the bedroom, you guys have already seen all this. And of course you can't sleep at this time. You guys have already seen most of the bedroom. So the only thing that should be really new to people who have seen the videos, I updated the look of this mantle. I used the maple kind of as a decoration, actually. You can stick it right to iron, and I really like the kind of sticking out 3D look of it, you know what I mean? So where it adds just some depth to the wall versus, standard. Look. There's still some touches that need finished here and there. I'm not sure if there's anything else I'm going to need. I put an alchemy table in here just in case, whatever this is, artisan table. Mainly just in case, like I said, if I ever put this seed on a server, I'd like people to be able to use this castle. It'd be really cool. It took a lot of building, and I'm actually pretty proud of the way that it came out to look. Hindsight, I would maybe make this portion of the keep slightly bigger if I redid this castle. So I like the general layout. I like the underground bedroom. I would make that maybe just a tiny bit bigger to account to have space for, maybe just space for a chimney off of this wall. With this open, it gives the smoke kind of a place to go, so you don't smoke out, you don't have any issues with the fire going up because of how tall I made it. However, yeah, it builds up the smoke in there, and so you can kind of see it through the wall, which I don't really like. And in fact, my chimney here is not as effective because it's only 1 deep. So in my last video, I showed you guys kind of how I do a chimney. This one's done the same way, but on a vertical base. So this is a 1 stone thick chimney with the roof going back to front. So it's not as effective because it's not the full length of a roof. Ideally, if I wanted this to be a perfect chimney, the bricks would come out to about here, and then I would have a full roof in there. And you could still leave it a crack like this at the top, it wouldn't matter. What matters is the roof has to go this way, and it has to have a full space above it, if that makes any sense. The portal room, I added a wall around it just mainly to give it more of a castle look, but I didn't really ceiling it in. I haven't decided if that's something I want to do yet. I thought it might be cool, maybe just to, get rid of this, get rid of that. Oh, don't get rid of that. We need the wall. I thought maybe it might be cool. To stone sealing this in. And, you know, bear with me here. I thought it might be cool to just kind of, you know, sealing this in, but I wasn't sure if it was something I want to do. So, like I said, these are all easily removable. I've still got the chest here for, you know, if you need to teleport. Now you have a place to put all the stuff that you can't teleport with. This is all stuff I got from my legit game. I take this character to different seeds to play. But I only bring my tools with me to the building seed. Back to the regular seed. I don't bring any of my... So anything I get in this seed, I don't bring to my regular game. Anywho, so this is what I came up with for the cooking area, though. Like I said, I kind of hope you guys at least dig it. I thought it was a pretty clever use of space, at least. You know, and like I said, I wasn't sure if I want to go up and do this or not. There's some things I wasn't quite sure on. You know, kind of seal in the cooking area there. To be honest, I probably could remove the top 2 bricks if I didn't have the pots and pans stuck there, and that would make the roof work. I think all this fog, though, is just the actual snowstorm. But yeah, this base is big enough to drop me to 40 frames per second. And as for the throne, it's mainly just there for decor. My thought process for this was kind of ultimate player's castle. So, you know, if I was gonna legit work on a castle, you know, obviously you wouldn't want anything super big, you know, in terms of, or at least footprint. In terms of survival mode, you would definitely want, you know, something that separates you from actual wildlife, I guess is the way to put it. Yeah, I get there. So you actually want something that separates you from actual wildlife. You know, so because of the way this is built, the wolves and everything can't get in. It is possible for an event to spawn on top of the place. I've actually already had both the wolf hunt spawn and the swamp one spawn. The swamp one spawned below, and nothing even got close to touching the base. The wolves spawned on top of the base, but they all ended up on the path right here, getting stuck trying to get up to the base. So it's like if the event centers on the castle, they'll spawn outside and then walk to the circle. It looks like it's kind of the way it works. And so even though the swamp one had spawned kind of right here on this area, all the swamp guys had spawned kind of down all over this area, and all they could do was stand there and stare at my base. I built the blacksmith hut. I kind of made it look like it's crumbling and been reassured on the cliff here. You know, I wanted to fit in. I wanted to. This castle was initially much bigger than it is now. So you know, I was thinking space-wise. You know, maybe the castle used to be, you know, like this big or something, and then over time the mountains just kind of crumbled underneath it. You know, and left what you see here. I left these rocks too, like built into the wall, and I placed items all over the ground, both down there and up here. These are just curved core wood, so they're just placed with a kind of a shift to stick out of the wall. So in certain areas, so you can't do it here, but if you turn it kind of this way, wherever your cursor is, you can see you can stick it out of the wall. And as long as your cursor is on a wall, and then you can also use the steeper one, even though the steeper one is hard, but if you want it to go into the wall, you can. So like for example, if you wanted it in that wall, you could take and place it there, and it would line up with the wall, and then you just get rid of this, and now it looks like you have a log laying there, and you can, you know, change over to core wood, free place a couple more pieces of core wood. So now it looks like the idea for this was to make it look like pieces of the gate have fallen off. In this case, it's just the two pieces that would be right here have fallen off down. The iron and wood and everything here is from up there. Obviously you see the iron, you can see the wood flooring would normally be in there, and then the bricks, sort of thing. And then this is these two are all from this, and there's a branch sticking out there, just kind of add some depth. I actually manually placed that by using spawn pickable branch, which is, you can see pickable barley, pickable branch. You know, so you can actually spawn items to add to your look just by using pickable. The only issue that I have with spawning stuff is I wish it would spawn the direction your character's facing, instead of just one direction. So no matter what direction I'm facing or where I'm looking, that will always seem to spawn facing, you know, branch this way, branch that way. So if you wanted to have it sticking, say, out of a wall on this side, it would look correct. But if you want it sticking out of a wall on that side, it's backwards. So I don't know if I'll end up leaving that. I also added this small detail up here to look like somebody patched it up, just using the wood X's, because there's all the bricks on the ground below. It looks like they fell off, and it looks like the snow is kind of avalanched out from underneath this wall here. So it's pushed these bricks forward in this way. I spent a lot of time actually on this detail, like of making it look kind of run down and wrecked. There's certain spots that took me a good hour or two to get looking the way that they are. This gate here, you can see that I just turned a piece of 1x1 cage wall just a little bit so it looks like it bent. I put another one on the ground so obviously you can make the assumption that was there, and then I put the post here to, because that would be the spot for the post. 1 2 post, 1 2 post. So, and then 1 2 post, and then this run has no post there, but this is my most detailed build so far. I've worked on a couple of other ones on camera, and I've showed them kind of me working on them. I wanted to just kind of revisit this one real quick so you guys had an idea of what I was, kind of up to. And I apologize, some of my lights are out, although in survival mode there's no way in hell to relight this. Yeah. So, and then I added some arches to the outside of the portal room just to give it some look, because a lot of your castles will have arch detail, but I didn't actually want to do a lot of that on this castle, and mainly is because of like the aesthetic I was going for. So I tried to deal more details on the outside, in terms of external, not just building in some arches or some windows inside some arches and calling it a castle. So each kind of zone of the castle has its own dedicated look. So you'll see that this side of the castle is actually kind of half wood, half concrete. If it got attacked, it's pretty damn safe. It's built into the actual mountain. So whoever attacked this castle would have to come up the path. I mean, good luck getting by all the stupid wolves. I'd have to come up the stairs. I've got the 2 bone tower shields hanging on the side of the gate here, which I like very much. They add a very good aesthetic. The ward is lit up over there. We got a balcony here. It's got iron. So the iron here was a necessity, or these would not stay up. So if you guys end up doing a small balcony like this on a build like what I have, make sure you use iron. Fortunately enough, I have iron tied all the way through the ground, so you can actually see all the way up on this wall. It's all complete iron. That is actually an iron brick all the way to the inside. So I started out by squaring iron off and then putting the bricks into the iron squares. And you can see that will actually run all the way up. This is a 2-layer wall. This is a 1-layer wall. Huh. Oh, okay, yeah, I shortened the wall up for this. Initially, this was a 2-layer wall, and I had iron running through it. But when I built this top section, I actually shortened it up. So, I was incorrect. I don't have a piece of wall here because you hang up on it coming up the stairs sometimes. Which is initially I thought about putting that's not the wrong wall. I do have a key bound, by the way. The key bind removes basically all spawn instances. So I thought about putting like an an iron torch here, or just for some extra light. But I didn't really have any place for the smoke. And like I said, occasionally, only occasionally, I would get hung up on the stairs. I also thought about putting a railing in here, but I couldn't figure out how I wanted to do it. It'd be... I would have to... spawn it off of that, maybe. But then I got my little forge piece here in the way. So for some reason, that, by the way, that was the only place it would let me put the forge. Yeah, you see, you kind of get stuck coming up the wall here if you put this on there. So for the aesthetic, it's good, but for practicality, it's bad. And it's because I think because of the window that's there. I guess I could do that. It's not going to be seen anymore anyway. I wonder if I could put that forge thing here. It would be close enough to the forge. I really wish they gave you more than 2 meters away. Because if you see, so the forge is here, but the only place you could put this is like there's no place I can put this. Where it's out of the way. Oh, I guess. I guess that'll work. At one point I was able to stick torches in this. And I don't know if they removed the ability to do it or not, because my previous like house thing I had going on. Oh, that's funny. I think I missed a gap in the floor. I'm not too worried about it. It gives a character, you know? Who doesn't have that one pothole in their house that they trip over and die? We can put a torch inside each cup. Yeah. What do you think, guys? Christmas tree? Yeah? Right in the middle? Oh. You know what? It'll be Halloween soon. This is Halloween. There we go. Yeah, happy Halloween, mofos. Alright, guys. Just a quick 30-minute tour on the castle update. I hope you enjoyed. You know, if you see anything that you like, let me know in the comments section. Like, subscribe. I'll show you guys more if I do it. I'm probably going to be trying out Naraka Blade Point. I will tell you in this video that I will be no good at that game, so if you're expecting Jesus, probably not going to work. I did think about potentially building a top section and making a walkout onto like a balcony here that overlooks this section of the forest. Maybe clearing some of that bottom down there out to give a view. Let me know if you guys want to see that. If that is something you would be entertained by. And let me know if you want to see just a vanilla playthrough of the actual game. Everything just plays.